Today's session is going to be the basic of SEO. Let's see how SEO plays an important role in the success of your website. So let's get started. So today's agenda is we are going to see the different ranking factors for Google for the current year 2020, and we are going to see how how to research different keywords and why it is an important aspect. So if we think of SEO, keyword is the first thing that you should be looking at, and we are going to understand why that is. And the third thing is basically building traffic to your website, how and the different strategies you can use to bring traffic onto your website. And finally, I have three tips on how you can do local SEO right. So now on to Google's ranking factor. So there are various other search engines out there, but almost 80% of the people worldwide, rely on Google to find any information they need. So that is why I have stated Google's ranking factor. And as you know, Google updates their algorithm frequently. So year on year, they make tweaks to the algorithm. So this is what matters in 2020. So ideally, for you to rank high on search engines, you must qualify in all of these aspects. Only then Google is going to think you're a credible website. So the first thing is, having a secured website, HTTPS versus HTTP. So if you are having if your website is built on to like a platform like Zoho Sites, you are entitled to HTTPS. It is by default. But if you have built your website on WordPress or any custom PHP, you might have to pay a small fee and get it upgraded. But it's a very simple thing. It's a very basic thing. And it's a very straightforward process. So ideally, what secured website means, it's like the content and everything on your website is secured by this particular certificate, and that basically it means you are a trusted provider. So customers when do always hesitate to make payments if that particular website is not HTTPS. So that is the reason why Google has that as one of the top ranking factor. And the second is mobile responsive website. So we know, even 5 years before, like I think in 2015 or 2016, mobile traffic has overtaken desktop traffic. So it is important because more and more people are looking for information on their phones and not on their desktop. So if it's difficult for them to read, if your website is not optimized for different mobile devices, it's very difficult for them to read the content, and so people are not going to be on your website for long. So they come to your website and then they leave, and that is definitely a very bad signal you're going to give to Google. So ensure that your website is mobile responsive. And same way, if your website is built on a platform like Zoho Sites, your website is automatically responsive because all of our templates are mobile responsive. Third is schema markup. We'll be discussing schema markup in detail in one of these slides. But what schema markup is that it's like basically a kind of code that you have on your website that Google can easily fetch. Like it can run your website, and when it sees these kind of code, it creates those content as small snippets. So basically, you will have a schema markup for FAQs. You will have schema markup for the reviews on your website. There are schema markups for various different things. So these kind of code, when it comes into your FAQ, and when people ask for relevant questions on Google search engine, it will automatically pull up one of your FAQs and then displays it on top of it. It comes even above all of your search engine results. So I have like a sample photo that shows how the schema markup performs. We'll be looking at it in detail. The fourth thing is page speed. So if you look at it, page speed is extremely important. If you look at statistics, if your website takes more than 2.5 to 3.5 seconds, people are going to get impatient and leave. So it is important to have your website optimized for better page speed. And the fifth thing is content quality. So there are so many websites out there, and people are looking for trustworthy content. So when they come to your website, and if you have just 3 or 4 lines that is not complete, people are going to be pissed, and then they'll be like, why the hell did I even come to this website, and they're going to leave. So again, Google, why content quality is important is that when a customer or a visitor or whoever comes to your website and then they spend 2 minutes, 3 minutes on your website, Google is going to think your particular website has something that had made the customer spend some quality amount of time over there. So it is going to think, okay, I am going to push this website top of the search result because people are finding content worth reading there. So that is why content quality is extremely important. That is how you can get customers to stay on your website for a longer period of time. And the next thing is quality backlinks. So if you're not familiar with the term backlinks, it basically means other websites that are referring back to your website. So you can create create backlinks through various means by different placing your website on different yellow pages kind of a website, directories basically. And when people click on that particular website, they're going to come here. So those are all very, very, very old fashioned way of building backlinks. The current and the right way to build backlinks is to look at guest posting, or being a featured writer elsewhere, or not a featured writer, basically, you can write for big journals or websites like Forbes, or Huffington Post, or anywhere, wherever opportunity arise, go and write and then link back to your website. Because when you are getting linked in very top rated website that has high amount of traffic, you are going to push more number of people, as well as the search engine result. Every time a search engine spider crawls through that particular website, they are going to find your website through that website and then come to your website. So that is how. So when you associate yourself with good websites, Google is going to think, hey, this should also be a trustworthy website, and it is going to rank you higher. And then the next thing is customer user experience. Again, it's all about making customers stick onto your website for a longer period of time. It all goes hand in hand with providing better content quality. And finally, domain authority. So domain authority is first and foremost always important, because it means like your website has been around for a longer period of time. So your domain authority increases with the age of your website, with the quality backlinks that your website has, as well as the kind of content or the amount of time people spending on your website. So all of these things are going to boost your authority. Basically everything that we discussed is all going to boost your domain authority. And when you have like a good domain authority, for example, Zoho has a domain authority of over 95. So whatever content we put out there, it gets ranked faster. And we always, any content that gets ranked, it is always first ranked in the first 20 search engine results. So that's a great place to be in. So that is something, as marketers, as website owners, you need to strive to build for your business. So first thing, yes, let's talk keywords. So like I said, if you think of SEO, you need to first think of keywords, because that is how people are going to find your business. So people are not going to think of service and then magically land on your website. No, they are going to go into search engines or any social media platform and type for something that they want, and then they are going to come across your content. So that is why keyword matters. So let's understand the different kinds of keywords and how to do keyword research and how to incorporate those keywords on your website, so that you rank for those keywords. So this is like a basic structure of your website. So you have your home page, and under your home page you have basically these 4 menus, right? Any website we go into, you have services, contact us, resources, portfolio or case study, whatever. And then under services we'll have some drop down that talks about the different services we do, and under resources we might have some drop downs that talks about the blogs, your different ebooks, white papers, etc. Your portfolio can also have a drop down like your case studies, it could be customer testimonials, it could be video testimonials. So in a nutshell, this is how your website will be structured. So how do you set up keywords in your website? So this is example that I created. So it is taking a look at it, you know, like, you know, your website cannot have just one keyword. So your home page so can have, like, you know, one primary keyword. So but your services page, when you have more than 2 or 3 services, you cannot have the same primary keyword split into it. It will have like a targeted business keyword. In the next slide, I'll be talking a much more in detail with a specific example, so you have a more context about, you know, what I'm trying to tell. But just have this as a I'm just giving this as a clue. And then next is the contact us page. So contact us page is extremely important to rank for local keywords. And then finally is your targeted long tail keyword. That is basically solution based keywords. So you write different blogs where you say, hey, I've like my client had this sort of a problem and this is how I rectified it. So when you're talking about specific problems, you are going to be talking about let's see, you know, how I help my customer rank for this particular keyword. So when somebody is you know, searching for a keyword, you know, something like, you know, how do I rank better for a keyword, you know, your particular blog is going to come up, because that is a long tail keyword, right? How can I do something? How can I, you know, optimize my website? How can I make my website load in 3 seconds? So these are all very specific questions that you can only you know, approach it through your blogs or through ebooks or white paper, etc. So that is your targeted long tail keyword. So now on to the example. So I gave you like an idea about how keywords in your website work, but here is a sample execution. So let's say I run a mobile app development company. So my homepage is talking about mobile app development services. So I do this, I have like, you know, 50, 100 developers, and then I do all of these things, but my homepage will be optimized for the keyword mobile app development services. And my services page, I am talking about 2 different services. One is Android app development, another is iOS app development. Both are very different. Me trying to rank for these 2 keywords in one single page does not make any sense, and it is not possible to do that. So that is why I have 2 different service pages, each one acting as a landing page, which helps me rank better for the individual services. Next is the contact us page. So my contact us page is like, I have my development service in Atlanta. So I am using my contact us page to rank for the keyword app development services in Atlanta, or Android app development in Atlanta, iOS app development in Atlanta. So however I want, I am going to try and include the word in Atlanta. As you can see, I might have like, you know, 1,000 people searching for Android app development services, but probably only 100 people are searching for Android app development in Atlanta, and my contact us page is going to rank much better because competition is lower. So that is why it is important to use your contact us page to rank for your local keywords. Next is resources. Like I told you, how you can like talk about specific problems that you have helped your clients, or specific problems or unique ideas that you have. So these sort of long tail keywords will have really less traffic. So not many people are going to be searching for it, but when a person searches for that particular keyword and then they come and land on your website, they are going to be spending a lot of time on your website because this is a unique thing that you are writing about. It's not available anywhere on the internet, and that particular person is going to be happy that you wrote about it because they get some valuable information out of it. So that is how you look at blogs. So yes, we can talk about listicles, we can talk about various, like, the top trends, etc. But these are the kind of meaningful content people will appreciate. So that is why we have long tail targeted keywords under the resources section. They also will play an important role in your overall SEO strategy. And finally, your portfolio case study, again, it is for long tail keyword, but you will talk about from your customer perspective, because your case studies are not only used for SEO, it is also a great conversion tool. So we want the traffic to come to your website, and once the traffic comes to your website, we want them to get converted as either subscribers or customers. So your case study will play a very important role at that point. So now we have understood the keywords and the different kinds of keywords and why and how, etc. Let's see how to do keyword research. So the first thing is you need to understand your niche. So I'm in the mobile app development. I know exactly the kind of searches people do. That's probably because I have spoken to numerous customers, numerous clients. I have spoken like, hey, how did you find my business, etc. So I am in the business. I know some level of information. I know my customers a bit. Yes, it's easy. But if you are new, like you know how to code and stuff, you're a developer and you want to build an agency, you might not have had first hand experience in talking to customers. You don't know really exactly how they search for your business online. At that point of time, run small surveys, create small focus groups, talk to friends and families, and go reach out to various forums and talk to people. Only then you will understand how customers perceive your brand or your services, and that is the only way you can come up with like a idea of the different kind of keywords out there. And once you have an idea of how customers are looking at your business, you can enter these ideas on different keyword research tools. So you have free tools like Google Keyword Planner, and there are a lot of paid tools like Ahref, SEMrush, Spifo, etc. So these keyword research tools, once you put in the two keywords, you will come up with different competition, and you can actually see what are the keywords your competition is ranking for and how much traffic or impression each of these keyword has. So based on those information, you can create a master keyword list. So your master keyword list will have your primary and the secondary keyword. So your primary keyword is basically your like I said, the keywords that you would target on your homepage, as well as your services page. So these are all your business keywords. Your secondary keywords are like a combination of your primary keywords. So when I say Android app development services, it can have like secondary keywords like Android app developers, Android apps that I've built, or various combinations. So it is like a subgroup for my primary keywords. So that is what I mean when I say secondary keywords. So once I have listed all of my keywords, it is best you maintain an Excel sheet. So you can go and list all of your primary and then group the secondary keywords as a subsection to your primary, and then maintain it in an Excel sheet. So as and when you rank for your keyword, you keep updating your sheet for your ranking. So ideally, if you are running a very niche business, you might maximum have like 10 to 15 different keywords. It's very easy for you to do a manual search for this every monthly once. Doing these sort of research every day or week doesn't really matter, because when it comes to SEO, you will not see immediate results. It will take at least 6 months for you to see a sizable difference. You need to actively work on your website for over 6 months to actually see any good results. So what you need to do is maintain an Excel sheet, and every month figure out where you rank for each keyword and keep that sheet updated. Why I ask you to keep this sheet updated is only when you keep seeing movements in your sheet, you will know your strategy is working. If you don't see any movement, then you need to take a step back and make tweaks onto your strategy. And you might have to push out more content, you might have to build more new backlinks. That way you will see your keyword ranking higher. So this particular sheet will be your master sheet, and it will help you understand whether your SEO strategy is working or not. So next is identifying search intent. Again, search intent is an extremely important factor. So like I said, why you need to have a focus group is your end user's customer point, like it's your end user's way of thinking. So there was my friend who wrote an article for basically like a best backlink checker tool. So he was optimizing his blog for the keyword backlink checker. But when you think about it, he did not do his research well. So when he did not notice any sort of a traffic for his blog, what he did was he went and then he typed in backlink checker. At that point, he saw the kind of results that came up in Google search was the tool itself. It was not the list. So all 10 results were tools. So he understood when a person was typing the search backlink checker, they are looking for a tool, they are not looking for the list of best tools. So he had to go in and tweak his title to say best backlink checker to help your SEO in so and so year. So he could start ranking for a combination of different keywords. But you understand, right? The customer search intent is different. So you need to understand why the customer is searching for a particular information. If he is searching a particular phrase, what does he mean by it? So understanding customer intent is extremely important. That is why running surveys and having focus group becomes the primary point in your keyword research. And finally, do a competitor research. Like I said, when you do a keyword research, use a keyword research tool, you will have your competition come up. And since somebody else has solved something for you, right? They have done some sort of a research and they have built a lot of content around it. They wouldn't have done it blindly. But again, your competition doesn't know. Even they are also in the trial and error. So it is nice to know what they are up to. You can take whatever is positive out of it, but you will have to put in your touch to it and come up with your own strategy. But having a look at what your competitor is doing frequently is always helpful. So next is on-page SEO. So now we have understood the different kind of keywords. We figured out how to find the keywords. So what are we going to do with the keywords? So ideally, you need to place these keywords on each of your page. So like I told you, so my home page is going to be optimized for the keyword mobile app development services. My service 1 page is going to be optimized for the keyword Android app development services. So that is my primary keyword. So my H1, as you can see on the right hand side the image, my H1 tag, it should be the keyword that I'm trying to rank for. So let's take my service 1, Android app development service. So what is the H1? H1 is basically the text you put on your banner, like the biggest heading on your page is your H1 tag. And so yeah, we put in instead of the H1 here on page SEO, we put in Android app development service. And then my H2 will talk about something which is related to a different Android apps you can have for your business or something like that. A combination of my secondary keyword will go into my H2 and my H3, but my Android app development is my focus. So let's see how we can insert our keyword creatively on a page so that we so that when Google comes to our page and it crawls through it, it knows, okay, this page is about this keyword, and when a user searches for this keyword, I will pull up this page. So that is our end game. So yes, so first is SEO friendly URL. So you can have like your domain.com/Android app development service. Your URL need not be very creative. You can be as straightforward as possible and include your keyword on the URL directly. So again, your primary keyword needs to be in your H1, H2, H3, how many hour subdivision you have, how many hour subheadings you have. Try and include your keyword in all of most of your subheadings. It need not be like, the same thing over and over again. It can be like a combination. Like I told you, your secondary keywords can go into these tags. But ensure your H1 tag has your primary keyword. And second is like organically include keyword in your content. So if you have 1,000 pages on a piece, try to include it 2 to 3 times. Don't overdo it, because we already have the keyword on your URL. We have it on your H1, H2, H3, wherever possible. We will also have it in your meta title and description. So do not try to include it over and over again, because it will become over optimized. So if you have only a content of 200 or 300, try to include it just once. It's more than enough, because we are placing it in multiple places. But try to come up with a lot of secondary keywords and include it throughout your website. Throughout your web page, because that is how you refer. So when you are writing about Android app development, you are going to be repeatedly talking the Android app words is going to come repeatedly. It's how you creatively make use of a different combination and include it for SEO. That is what that works for on-page SEO. So next is image alt tag. So definitely all of your any web page we take, there are going to be a lot of images there. So ensure even include alt tags and include your primary and secondary keywords in all of your alt tags, because that is how you can rank in Google Images as well. And Google Images, it's also one of the top places where people find a lot of content and interlinking content. So when you are writing multiple pages, so when I'm talking about Android app development, I can include a line that says, hey, you also wish to build an iOS app development, read more. So I can push the customer from one services to another creatively in a flow. So that is how I can interlink, or I can link to a different blog. So I have creatively solved an Android app problem. So my apps always load fast. So I am going to within my service page, I can have these blogs attached that talks about why my service is preferred, why customers choose me over the competition. So I can have all of those content on my landing page and push customers who are in the service page to those blogs or ebook or white paper, wherever. So that is how you creatively interlink content. And the final is meta title and description. So again, meta title and description is basically when you search for a keyword on search engine, you will see the results, right? So the main bolded one is the meta title, and you will see like a 2-line description, that is your meta description. So definitely your keyword needs to be there. So otherwise Google is not going to know, and they are not going to pull up the result. So finally is rank in Google zero result. This is the schema markup that I told you. So as you can see on the right hand side, I searched for the term how to uninstall Uber search search bar, and it pulled me Uber search's FAQ as a featured snippet. So this particular featured snippet is what the schema markup does. It records all these small snippets and then shows it above all of the search engine result. So this is like the zero result, and if you can start popping up in a lot of these featured snippet, you're going to boost your traffic. You don't have to wait for the 6 months or 1 year for your particular pages to rank on first page of search engine. You would automatically start pushing traffic onto your website with the help of Google zero result. So again, like I said, you can, the search results work best for FAQs, customer reviews, and there's a lot of other elements. And again, as I already told, if your website is on Zoho site, Zoho site is already built with a strong schema markup, so you don't have to worry about anything. Second is how to bring organic traffic to your website. So, what are the different ways you can push traffic? You can bring people. So, one thing is build a lot of content. Like I said, when a customer comes to your website, I'm going to contradict two things. When I say build a lot of content, it's not 10-20 blogs. No, it really doesn't work that way. When I meant by a lot of content, it means you are writing thought leadership content. So you have creatively solved a customer problem and you have written like the different aspects of it in like a 1500 word blog. And what you can do is you can create a small slide share of that blog and include it in the blog's highlight section. You can also create an infographic, a video, a podcast, whatever. Try to incorporate multiple format of the same content, because as a reader, I hate videos. I can't watch videos at all. I always look for a small gist of the video to figure out, should I engage my time in watching this video? Is it going to be worth my while? Because for me, I find it is easier to skim through the content and get the context of it. But with a video, I need to play and actually invest the amount of time to figure out what it is all about. So different people are different people look at content differently. So if you can invest your time in building a good content, ensure you invest a little more time in building the same content in different medium. So any customer who comes in, they would reach out to their favorite medium and they would spend more time on your website, because good content always matters and people are always looking for good content. So that is what I meant by build a lot of content. So do not spend time in writing hundreds of mediocre content. So if you can write only 3 good content per month, it's well and good, but try to create it in multiple format. And second is building backlink from targeted directories or website. So I already explained this in detail. Your guest posts, if you are in the healthcare industry, having a backlink from a good health journal is going to be valuable than any other. So if I am linking back to your healthcare website from my technology magazine, people are not going to care about it. I'm going to be talking about AI. Yes, if it is AI in healthcare, it's well and good, but I am talking about gaming and apps and whatever things, and I suddenly get a link back to a healthcare website, it means there's something wrong. So that is why it is important to only get backlink from targeted directories and websites. So try to be in your own niche, be in your own industry, because it matters a lot. And build your social profile and post often, because there are so many websites out there. Whenever I stumble upon a website, the first thing I do is I go into a social media platforms and see if they are active, because a lot of websites are inactive out there, and that is one thing I use it personally to figure out if that particular website is active or not. And another thing is that your post often is also social media is also a platform which is going to drive traffic. People are, or more and more people are finding more content. If you are an active user of Instagram, Instagram has released reels where a lot of people are putting out videos and the discovery is increasing. It could be even TikTok. There are so many platforms out there which people are creatively using them to promote their brands and services, and it actually brings tons of traffic. So use social media creatively to bring in traffic to your website. And finally is staying active in targeted forums. So there are a lot of forums out there, and these forums have engaging, heated discussions over a lot of topics. So the top two forums that I would, you can readily go and join is Quora and Reddit. You have, if you're already in Reddit, there are so many subreddits to go and join in very targeted thing. Do not spam people by just posting links. Get involved in engaging and meaningful conversation, so people will know, people will understand, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. And when your karma increases, or in Quora your particular rating increases, people are going to take notice, and your post and your answers are going to be highlighted, and that is how you can push traffic. So social media and forums are one of the best performing traffic building websites. And again, backlinking, it will definitely help push your ranking. And a lot of content, when you build a lot of content in various mediums, it is definitely going to help customers who land on your website spend more time on your website. That way you are going to rank better for those keywords. So that is how these things work, hand in hand, in helping you build traffic. And Simon, basically what it does is, your social media, your targeted forums is going to push people, and your content is going to help you stay there longer and help you rank for keywords. And the keywords, as and when the keywords are ranking higher and higher, you're going to have more people come into your website. So it's a circle. You need to be active everywhere, and that is how organic basically SEO works. And so how to increase website stickiness? So website stickiness is a factor. I told you, like, a person comes to your website and then they stay longer. So if they come to your website and they leave within 5 or 6 seconds, Google is going to think, okay, this particular website, for this keyword, that person has, like, 10 people have come and 10 people have left within 6 seconds. So maybe it will equate, okay, this particular website is not relevant to this keyword, and it is not going to rank you for the keyword. So it is important that a person comes and stays on your website for a longer time for the keyword, for you to rank better. So as you can see on the right side, WordStream did this particular research, and then they figured out average time on website, when it's higher, the position or their ranking is also higher, and then it keeps dropping when the time on website drops as well. So it is how much ever you try to, Google might not tell you like time on site is important. There are numerous other researches that has been done. Everything points to the fact that your website stickiness. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? We as customers, as solution providers, we want to provide value to customers, and only through quality content we provide value to customers. And search engine also look at it the same way. So let's see how to increase website stickiness. One is building thought leadership content. Like I told you, it's not thing that you build 10 different content which is mediocre, but when you provide one good content, it is definitely going to get people's attention. And like I said, interlink content. So you are people land on your service page, and then you talk about different blogs that says how you have helped customers. People are going to, from the service page, they're going to move on to your blog page. That way they are on your website for a longer time. And as I said, create content in multiple formats. This way, I don't like videos, but I would spend time reading a blog. I would read, or another person would be like, hey, I like to watch the video, I would watch the video. So that way they are on your website. You are catering to different kinds of audience. And the last is having a chat. So this is kind of a cheat thing that you can do. Basically have a chat, and when somebody comes and you notice they're lingering around for a minute, not even a minute, like 10-15 seconds, you can basically set a trigger. It's an automated thing. I say, hey, can I help you with something? And when a user engages with the chat, they are going to be talking to your support person, and they're going to be there on your website for a longer time. So SalesIQ can help you do that. And finally is the local SEO, like I told you, the bonus tip. So again, local is extremely crucial because people would like to do business with people, they basically, if they don't get a response from you, they would like to walk into your office and be like, hey, what the hell, I tried talking to you and I didn't hear. So people find it comfortable to do business with people with whom they can reach out to easily. So how can you boost your local online presence? So the best way is I say this is a very mandatory thing. You have to have a Google business page. Without a Google business page, it is important for people to find you, and you need to keep the page updated. So Google business has recently launched a lot of features, so you can basically set up like people can click and make a call to you. You can put up offers, you can list services, you can put out posts, pictures, videos, anything on your Google business page itself. So use that to your advantage. And so on your website, I would say add your address. So like I said, let's go back to my previous example, mobile app development in Atlanta. So when I have that particular address on my footer, so the word Atlanta is on the footer across. So basically my footer is the same across all the pages, right? So whatever keyword people search for, and then the word Atlanta on my footer gets pulled, and I have the opportunity to rank for the keyword. The opportunity is much higher. And then including a Google Map API on your contact us page. A lot of people put the map on the footer as well, but there has been a couple of research that has been done which said that having it on your contact us page alone has a much better has had a much better result because I basically, like I said, each individual page, it's much better if it ranks for one particular keyword. So having the same thing on multiple pages is going to split the traffic. So it's best to have your map API on your contact us page alone. And then the last thing is try to blog about local news. So if you are an active person in the community, write about it, write about your local community problems, pick up do some sort of kind of a benefit drive or anything in your society and write about it, because that gets picked up by local news and other things, and Google knows, okay, this particular person is from this particular locality, and it will definitely associate your business to that area. So these are few simple tips. So there is nothing out of the ordinary you can do for your local SEO, but these are all simple things that you can keep incorporating in your SEO strategy to ensure and let Google know frequently that you are from this area. So when people type in the keyword XXX service near me, just let people know that I am near them. So that is what you can do for local SEO. So thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any more questions, feel free to write to us at marketing@zohosites.com. Thank you.